He's with us now on the phone. So, Chase, your reaction to today's vote? I gather that the ACLU is not that thrilled with this particular bill.
No, we are not thrilled, and really just think of this as HB 2.0. This is another version of the same. It does not reflect any change in principle to the fundamental discrimination that we all rejected from the original HB 2. And I think perhaps most insidiously, it does the precisely same thing that HB 2 did with respect to transgender individuals. It creates indefinite ban on local entities, including schools, from ever protecting trans people when using restrooms and other single-sex facilities. So here we are touting a measure as a pseudo-repeal when all it does is just change the language of the discrimination, with the effect being precisely the same.
And so, Chase, what would you say to North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper about this compromise that the state Senate has reached here?
I think I would say to Governor Cooper two things. I mean, I think first, as a trans individual myself, I think it is shameful that he has taken his leadership position to further entrench discrimination against a group of people that are already facing high rates of violence and discrimination. And then I would also say it's very interesting that he is now accepting a deal that is much worse than the one that he rejected in December when it was proposed by the leadership in the North Carolina General Assembly. I don't know what the change of heart reflects in him, but I think that he should know, and others who are voting for this measure should know, that we are not going to stop in our vigilant opposition to this bill in court, in the streets, in the ballot. So there is a lot to be concerned about for the people who are invested in a compromise that reflects no such compromise and really just re-entrenches all of the discrimination that the original HB 2 was rejected because of.
So do you think the Supreme Court maybe needs to play a role in this issue of transgender rights?
Well, I think that the lower courts have been quite clear, actually, that discrimination against trans people is prohibited sex discrimination under the Constitution and federal law prohibiting sex discrimination in education and employment. So in some sense, we have quite a bit of legal clarity on this question, and no doubt the courts will fall in line when it comes to this measure that's being proposed today. Ultimately, there's no doubt that the Supreme Court will grapple with this question at some time, and I think the precedent from the lower court and the Supreme Court's own precedent on the nature of sex discrimination will ultimately clarify that trans people have rights when it comes to public space, have rights under the Constitution, and this kind of targeted discrimination simply won't be squared with the federal laws that have long protected us.
All right, Chase Strangio, always good to talk to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.